Why do you, that's a dumb question. I shouldn't ask you why you burp so much, because I know why.
That's a weird, vague thing to say.
It's like, it's like some
Because your
monkey's
father
bullshit.
was
I
cursed by
know.
a pirate.
It's because you fucking pound Coke Zero, Sprite Zero now.
Nope,
Like it's
not
fucking nothing.
Sprite Zero. I went back to Coke Zero because Sprite is a little too sweet.
Yeah.
It's not refreshing.
My office has like soda and stuff, and I tried out Diet Coke and Coke Zero like back to back, and Diet Coke tastes so fake compared to like Coke Zero. I understand now the appeal of having an entirely separate product that serves the same purpose.
Can I complain?
Yes.
I'm lifeguarding this summer because I enjoy the sun and being outside, and I fucking hate people a lot more than anything on the planet. I hate humans. My favorite part of them is that they assume that while my day job is being a lifeguard, my other job during the night is legislating for this pool. Like, I come up with every rule that we have. So I'll be like, you can't do flips off the diving board. And they'll be like, and like go completely fucking insane in my face. Like, I created the rule and it's my favorite thing in the world to enforce it. I am not mad at your kid because he's breaking this rule and I love this rule. I'm mad at your kid because he's not listening to the things that I tell him to do, and it's my job to tell him what to do. Fuck you and your inbred kids. I hate everyone here. If you ever bring your kid to a pool and you expect the lifeguard to babysit it, fuck you.
Are you saying that you don't have like pool congress at night after the pool closes?
No, we don't have the summit of lifeguards.
So everyone gathers. That's what ISTs are. Everyone just like gathers at one pool for like, once a week and like fucking.
There's
like,
this
legislates.
fucking idiot lifeguard that we've got who I worked at a different facility with during the winter. He is a slow chap. He really, really, and he's huge too. I think I talked about him before about how he. We were talking about this woman who works upstairs, and he was wondering if she was single, and we were like, well, she's probably not into dudes, and he was just like, but I'm a grower, and that whole thing. I don't know if you remember that. But
Oh yeah, wasn't this at the gym?
it was at the gym, yeah, and he has somehow made his way to the pool that I'm currently working at.
Incredible.
Love him to death, salt of the earth. He he has a tendency to be very easily tricked by the kids at the pool.
Oh no.
He'll be in the stand, and they'll like the teenagers will be like, so we can do flips off the board, right? They'll word it in a way where he doesn't.
Oh, man.
He's not. Yeah, and he'll say, yeah, probably, and they'll just do it, and then he'll be told by us, it's like, you can't let them do flips off the board, and he'll be like, okay, and then later on they'll be like, so we can go in the lap lanes, right? And he's remembering what we told him, and we told him only for exercise, which means lap swim, and he'll be like, only for exercise, and they'll be like, okay, we'll use it for exercise, and he's like, God, I'm such a good lifeguard, and then he like gives himself a mental pat on the back, and they go into the lap swim lanes, and they start doing like practicing their fucking Hell in the Cell treatment, and they like throw each other off the what it was, the side of the pool, like into the water with a choke slam, and they're like throwing water on all these old women who are doing laps, and this dude in the sand, he's just like, man, I'm fucking awesome, I'm the best lifeguard ever. He got the wool pulled over his eyes by a bunch of 15-year-olds.
This fucking, how old is he?
He is probably 18. I don't know.
Oh. I mean, I wasn't that dumb when I was 18, but like for some reason
You're about to give him a way too generous out for the stuff that he does. If you met this person, you would laugh.
That's so funny. Is he I just want to know so much
He
more
wears
about
tennis
this
shoes
person.
and socks in the stand.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no.
It's that one.
It was time for Thomas to leave, for he had seen everything.
I feel. Do you think he actually has some sort of like disability? I don't know how to say it.
No,
the right
he's
way.
just he's not the sharpest pencil in the grinder.
He's just like dumb, like normally. Like there's
he's just a
nothing-
dumb person. He's
nothing,
the
like,
sweetest
inherently
kid.
wrong with
He's not a bad guy. He's not an asshole. He's not annoying. He's just dumb.
Yeah, he was just raised dumb. He wasn't like born dumb or anything.
Or somebody dropped him or something.
Yeah. Well, if he was dropped, maybe that would be considered like a disability, not his fault. So I'm gonna blame this one on his parents. So.
Did you enjoy that I sent a picture in the group chat that no one decided to respond to of Mars?
Oh, you sent that while I was like driving, and
Okay.
like we were like simultaneously like stressing out about buying movie tickets or something.
That was not. That was like 3 hours later.
Yeah. When was this?
Oh,
I was at a bar. That's why I didn't respond to you.
Oh, you fucking gross weirdo.
Yeah.
My mom just recently gave me a little envelope with, I don't know what it would be, 2 months now, and it's got a little coin in it because she's going on a trip. She won't be here to give it to me. This is June 7th. Open then. My mom's the sweetest person.
Dude, your mom is the best fucking person on this
She
earth.
will cry for any reason, and I was hugging her because she's going to see her mom, and her mom just recently slipped and had an accident, like broke her hip or something like that. So they were already going to visit for her dad's birthday in Florida, but now they're going to sort of have a more urgent, like, everybody come together meeting. And I was hugging her as she was leaving, and then it was just noticeably a way tighter hug, and I was just like, oh man. And I hugged her back like a little harder, and she immediately burst into tears.
Aww.
My mom is the sweetest lady.
Sweet. Dude, I love that.
But anyway, back
so
to
nice.
why Mars is a freaky bitch.
I don't understand what this photo like. You sent a picture of Mars, and then you sent a picture of.
You don't see it?
I don't see it in the original photo. So when I look over to what you drew, it looks like, I don't even know what this is supposed to be. A gagged baby? Is that what you're
gagged baby? No, here, look.
A crying gagged baby.
That's I don't have them in order on my camera. So if you look at, this is going to be great for.
Here's the process.
Basically, I found this picture of Mars where the right side of the picture looks like a guy with a giant head with a ball gang in his mouth, and then I did an artist rendering of that, and I don't know how you don't see it.
An artist rendering. I can see where the strap is coming from. There's like a horizontal line.
The whole strap is a bit of an exaggeration, but
yeah.
There's
a horizontal strap across Mars that looks
definitely
like
exists.
A mountain range.
Doesn't it look like the tears and like saliva's just pouring out of his mouth?
Saliva. I'm trying to find the two eyes.
It's like Pulp Fiction. But anyway, yeah, that was.
I'm like
about that.
I'm seeing it now. I'm seeing it a little bit, but I'm not seeing this as a gagged baby.
You're a
seeing
stupid
a face.
idiot.
I see two eyes, a nose, and then a small mouth, and then it looks like he's a chin strap more than a like a gag in his mouth.
Where did I put this on Twitter? Oh yeah, so I posted this on Twitter because after I sent it to you, I didn't get any response. I needed validation elsewhere, and I put it on Twitter and said, "Why does the right side of Mars look like a dude with a ball gag in his mouth?" And then I replied to myself with that artist rendering. The responses were, "Thanks, I hate it. I only see the polar bear. All I see is a monster Marge Simpson. Patrick, you're projecting. Okay, thanks for the picture. It took me a minute. Then again, I am pretty stupid.
Laughing.
Okay.
Giant gif.
Thanks for the visual. So it's pretty much nobody agrees with me.
Mm-hmm.
And someone thinks that I'm projecting, which I assume they're trying to say, you're a freaky weirdo, and you're trying to see what you want to see. And I disagree. I think Mars is a little freak.
I'll be honest, and I see the Marge Simpson more than I see you.
I don't see Marge Simpson at all. And I think if you see Marge Simpson, you're a bad person.
I actually really like this Marge Simpson thing.
You're boring.
I think well, if people want to know what we're talking about, just go to Patrick's Twitter and find the picture of Mars and call him a stupid idiot because it doesn't.
Try not to hack my account and send a bunch of perverted, creepy messages to 1,000 people.
Yeah, what ended up happening there? That was weird.
I don't know. It happened to Prude dudes too. The Prude dudes Instagram.
Yeah.
Or they attempted to have it happen to them.
Yeah, I got the email and like immediately like jumped in and like changed the password.
That I did not do because I was taking a nap. So it was a solid like 5 hours of this.
No, you texted me right after being like, Penta, what's going on? And I'm like, don't worry, it's just me. Yeah, you did. You texted.
No, that was for the Prude dudes thing, not for my account.
Oh yeah. I thought you were talking about the Prude dudes one.
I would love to have known that quickly.
Yeah,
but,
you woke up. and like you.
I woke up
child
and I looked
pornography to
and
millions
I saw
of people.
1,000 texts from everybody like, "What the fuck's going on? What are you doing, you idiot?" All my friends, all my internet friends were like, "What are you fucking doing? What is this shit?" No, I'm just kidding. Most of them were like, "Dude, you got hacked." And so my account sent, I think, 1 billion messages because I scrolled for like a solid 30 seconds and I could not find a bottom to this thing. And yeah, it's just a link, a garbage, shitty, perverted, weird link to some website where they rate people how sexy they are, but it actually just goes to a thing with a terribly cropped Instagram logo at the top, and then a login prompt to basically steal your information. Yeah,
Hate that. I actually fell for one of those as a kid.
Eesh.
It was one of the this was back when Xbox had Microsoft points and not like real money. And it was like, put in your gamer tag and your password and we'll give you free Microsoft points. And I'm like, shit, okay. Well, if this sounded terrible,
It's my fault. Sorry, I'm stupid.
I may or may not have been able to fix it, or there just might not be anything at all, so you have no idea what we're talking about, listener. But anyways,
First 11 minutes of the podcast just got fucked because I forgot to put in my headphones, and so the speakers were blasting directly into the microphone I was speaking into, and you could hear Pena talking, so I'm an idiot.
oh well. Anyways, I was briefly mentioning that as a child, I fell for a scam. I've actually fallen for like a ton of scams as a kid. I was a really fucking stupid idiot. I gave away my gamer tag, Xbox Live gamer tag, and password to a random website that promised me free Microsoft points so I could buy the new Call of Duty map pack. So yeah, I was a big fucking dumb idiot. I also think I got scammed into buying like fake Yu-Gi-Oh cards when I was at the mall or something like that. Yeah, there were those legendary Egyptian ones, and they
The God cards?
yeah, the god cards and
You mean Exodia?
Yeah, that one too. It was the dragons, and it was the Slifer, Ra, and Obelisk, the Tormentor. That dude was metal as fuck. I'm actually gonna look him up right now. But it was those, and they were not real, and they fell apart very quickly, and I was very upset about it.
Fell apart.
Yeah, like the paper on them fell apart.
Mm.
Yeah, it's fucking lame. But that's what happens when you get your Yu-Gi-Oh cards from the sketchy mall in the shop that doesn't sell regulation cards, I guess. So, fuck me.
I have a Blue Eyes White Dragon from 1993 in my wallet.
Oh, man. That's cool as shit. Is it the original one that has, like, the square picture and it's, like, the...
I don't have my wallet on me, but yes.
Oh, well.
If it's from 1993, then yes.
Has Yu-Gi-Oh really been around that long?
Probably.
How, where'd you find that card?
Thrift store.
Shit, really? It's probably worth a decent amount of money, I feel. If it's in good condition, at least. You know what I mean? No, this is a, it's the picture of, it's just, like, hovering on, like, an Egyptian tablet or something. I don't fucking know. It's weird. Are we allowed to talk about the recent drama at the pool with the...
No,
we're not.
why would I be able to talk about that?
Just thought it would make for an interesting story.
It would, and I would love to talk about it, but no, I can't talk about it.
Well, it's a shame, but...
Right now I'm looking into the desk of this computer, and there's a picture of my uncle with a righteous mustache and a very 90s tie.
If you could be born into any decade but the current one, which one would it be?
Oh, fuck.
Any place and any time.
Based on what? The aesthetic?
Anything. Just like you would want to live in that world.
I want to live in a world where there's almost no laws, because I feel like that'd be fun, but I'd get bored really quick, probably.
You get bored of not having laws?
Yeah. Because everybody wants to live in like a post-apocalyptic world where it's just like Fallout New Vegas and you can do whatever you want and there's no consequences. But then you realize that life kind of sucks because the law and order that you didn't want was sort of keeping things together and making everything much easier for you.
Yeah. I think for you, I imagine you would pick like the Wild West or something like that.
I might, but I'd be killed very quickly.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when there are no laws.
I'd be prepared for ingrown toenails because apparently in the Old West they would just drink like a fifth of tequila and just work it with a knife. So,
ew, God.
Which is something I already do, minus the tequila.
That's fucking. Oh yeah, didn't you have that nail thing?
I still do.
A while ago. Whatever happened?
Apparently,
to that?
there's something that you can get that's like they'll put cement in your toes so they won't grow anymore.
What the fuck?
But you have to be like 22.
What?
You have to be like done growing or something like that.
That is fucking cement in your toes. I don't know why I'm thinking gangrene. That's the thing that like your limbs get rotten and they have to cut them off.
Can we talk about how bad Joe Biden was?
We can talk about that.
I don't know if anybody who is interested watched the Democratic debates, but fuck, they sucked. Everyone seemed completely insane. Buttgeek was neat. Who else was there?
So there were 2 nights. I watched both of them. The first night,
you watched them joust?
I did watch them arm wrestle. I didn't watch them joust. I thought Elizabeth Warren was great the first night, but I really like her, so I'm biased, I guess. Other than that, everyone else that first night was kind of boring. Cory Booker kind of seems like a robot. And
did you like all the Spanish?
Yeah, everyone everyone tried to speak Spanish so many times.
What prompted that?
I think Beto O'Rourke tried to speak Spanish at the beginning, and then Julian Castro, who's actually Hispanic, did it later in response to an answer about immigration. So Beto's Spanish was kind of cringy. Beto's just like such a fucking dork now. He used to be this like beacon of hope when he was running against Ted Cruz.
Now he's a weirdo.
And then he lost, and now he's just like a weirdo running for president for some reason. Like, he's not the guy.
You remember when somebody edited the dominant sort of a picture of a guy's torso, like a really ripped guy's torso that says, "You here now"? Except they edited it so it's Beto O'Rourke's torso. That was one of my favorite images. I think you told me about that.
Yeah. He's just, like, the debate especially, he seemed super fucking, like, sad and depressed. Like, he would just not answer the questions well at all. And the whole time, his hair was, like, not that, like, anyone's hair, like, judges how they feel or anything, but his hair had that, like, depressed, like, divorced person hair. You know what I mean?
Depressed
like
divorced person?
Like, he hadn't done anything.
You're making him sound like a cuck or something.
I wouldn't go that far, but he just seemed really out of it. Normally, you see videos of Beto, and he's this like super energetic guy, like speaking truth to power, giving these like impassioned like public speeches or whatever. But then that night, he was just like, we should put gun control to save America, and then healthcare was also a good idea. That's my position. And it was just like, what? What happened to you? Like, someone fucking, like...
Took the wind out of his sails?
Exactly. Someone, like, beat the shit out of this guy in, like, a back alley, and it left him scarred for the rest of his life. So now he's, like, no self-confidence.
Everyone in both. I didn't watch the first one with Elizabeth Warren. I watched the one with Joe Biden and Bernie and stuff.
That one was good.
Man, did both of those people seem like idiots that night.
Yep. You know what's weird is that Joe Biden obviously seeming like a huge fucking idiot because everyone was going straight for, like, the jugular on him, which I thought was funny.
When that, I don't remember her name because I don't
Kamala
pay attention
Harris?
to anything. Maybe, but she was just like, I don't think you're a racist. But
That's her, yeah.
Which is such a torpedo because it's exactly the opposite of what you want to say.
Yeah. Like that moment, like pretty much dominated the.
She was talking about busing
entire night. Yeah, she was like, I don't think you're racist, but you worked with like some pretty fucked up people, and also like you opposed busing in the 70s, and I was a kid who was bused to school, so basically fuck you. And he was like, this is a total mischaracterization of my positions across the board. And she was like, nope, that happened.
Did you like the parts of the night where Joe Biden had his "this is stuff that I did" moments?
Yeah. He kept fucking like using Obama as like a shield. Like someone asked him like, "Hey, so you voted for the Iraq War? That was pretty fucked up. Why should anyone trust you now?" And he was like, "Obama asked me to get the troops out of Iraq,
yeah.
one of which was my son." And I was like, "But."
I also
not
liked how there was the domino effect of somebody mentioned healthcare and how it affected their family based on some injury or medical situation they had, and then slowly by one, each of them mentioned something else that had happened to them. Yeah. And it just seems a little bit disingenuous when like, oh, but actually, so here's something that happened to me.
I too have had the flu once and had to go to the
There was this one time where I was on my yacht and I fell over.
Fucking, there were so many people that didn't belong there. Like, so many random old white dudes. The audience, too. But, like, speaking strictly of candidates.
Also, by the way, that is not to say that any of the things that they mentioned were equivalent to tripping on your yacht. That was just a joke. Anyway, go ahead.
I don't think anyone's going to get mad at you, like, putting presidential candidates.
I don't know. Some dude named Kyle and some Sperry's will probably get mad.
But so many fucking random old white dudes there. And I'm not one to be like... Hickenlooper, Delaney, Inslee. Although he's really big on climate change, so I respect that at least. Bill de Blasio was like, I have a black son. And Cory Booker's like, I am black. Just like Tim Ryan, the random dude from Ohio who looked sadder than Beto. He was just like, the factories in my district have closed down and I don't know what to do. And
apparently,
like, okay.
The what the fuck is that guy's name? One of the guys' names, his mic was shut off or something.
Andrew Yang, yeah, but that's not really true. Like people.
Oh shit!
This is immediately like. This is what I fucking hate about the internet, and especially this like weird victim complex crowd that is Andrew Yang's fan base, because he draws on the same kind of dudes that listen to Joe Rogan Experience and think Elon Musk is God.
Oh, wow.
And so Andrew Yang didn't really get to talk too much because there was like 10 people, but he was definitely near the bottom of people who got to speak. And I guess at some point his microphone wasn't turned on, which some people think is like some grand conspiracy against him. Literally, I saw some people on Reddit saying they're afraid of his ideas, and I'm like, this is so fucking stupid. Like, I've literally worked like on network TV production. Like, shit is hard to like manage all of that. So I wouldn't be surprised if someone literally just accidentally pressed the button on some switchboard somewhere and wires got crossed. There's 1,000,001 different reasons shit can go wrong for like a hot second. So
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Dude, you should rant about network programming for 2 seconds.
Fuck you. Welcome back.
Sorry, the cat was going and losing its mind.
Interesting. You didn't stop recording, right?
No.
Cool. So I don't have to do any work. Anyways,
what did you talk about while I was gone?
I said absolutely nothing, dude.
So you're just gonna cut it out?
Yeah. I found what was I talking about before? Like, anyways, yeah. There's no Andrew Yang conspiracy. If you think there is one, you're dumb. This is just like the people who thought Bernie was like rigged or whatever. Like, the election was rigged against Bernie last time. Please shut the fuck up. Anyways, there's a fucked up photo of some kid on Reddit, and in the back of his head, his parents, or I guess someone, shaved the word liar into the back of his head, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
Why?
I guess it's like a form of punishment, which is
he
weird.
Do?
No idea. The picture is totally out of context, but the photo was taken out of Golden Corral, so this kid is like doubly punished. Someone was just like r/casual child abuse, and I checked, and that's not a real sub, unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever one is better. But like, what's like the weirdest punishment you've ever like gotten as a kid? Because like, my parents would take away
I guess.
Spanking, really? Your parents were still like kind of old fashioned that way?
Yeah, mostly when we would just not listen and run away and stuff. But I think the weirdest, weirdest. I mean, they just talk about what their parents would do to them as some sort of weird, vague threat, but that's pretty typical.
I think I had the soap.
Oh, I did have soap, yeah.
I had the soap in my tongue thing one time. But that's it. And that one wasn't that bad. It was just like soap is kind of unpleasant to have on your tongue, but then you can
for the first like 2 seconds, and then you get over it.
Yeah, then you can just like rinse it off, and it's like, oh no, I'll never swear ever again. Thanks to
God,
the
I'm so
soap.
clean.
I'm trying. Nothing ever like physical. I think.
No one ever named me Beto. That was pretty wild. I can't imagine going through that.
But they did name me Patrick.
That's true.
Yeah,
and people have chosen to nickname me Pat instead of Rick, which I hate.
Instead of Rick. Oh my god! Like all the fucking, which is weird. I was a shitty kid at the pool, at the childhood, and at the pool.
At the childhood. At
the childhood pool. I had this bad habit of constantly throwing up as a kid. As a very, very young kid, like 5 and under. And I would like close every pool I went to pretty much. But my parents couldn't punish me obviously because like it's not like I was voluntarily throwing up. But like if I had a kid like that.
I like the idea that this happened more than twice and your parents decided to continue taking you to pools.
It happened like 5 or 6 times, I think.
That's fucking stupid.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, like from the perspective of a lifeguard or someone who works at the pool, that would be my favorite fucking kid in the whole goddamn universe. The kid who always comes and always throws up. God bless that kid. Anytime someone takes a shit, vomits, anything, I'm like, God bless your soul. We're shutting it down. Like, and I remember fucking sometimes a kid wouldn't even vomit. He would just have like a really hefty spit, and I'd be looking at it in the water, and I'd be like, that's vomit.
You'd be like,
we gotta close. Like, looks like there might be a speck or two in that spit. We gotta close just to be safe. And the rest of the families would just be like, what are you talking about? I pay to go here. And I was like, oh, sorry, safety or whatever. You know,
that's my favorite response when you have to tell them to do something. I pay to go here. I pay to blah, 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 blah. Yeah. It's like, oh, you do? Gotcha. As if I didn't know that, you fucking idiot. The only way you could be here is if you pay to be here.
Has anyone ever pulled the I pay your salary or whatever on you?
They've done that without saying exactly those words.
Yeah. I mean, definitely they like pull like the we run this shit or like we own this technically thing, which they don't actually. They just like buy into the
I've gotten do you even live here?
What?
Which is a very Mean Girls sort of
That's like a weird that's like taking people who are against immigrants and then putting it on like a hyper local scale.
Because that area where I lifeguard is like a bunch of McMansions and like townhouses, and it is the worst group of people ever. Oh, it's just the most like privileged. Like they leak like oil that they took from other countries. Like just the worst.
From other countries. I like the worst is when they'll try to like complain about your like lifeguarding techniques, which there's not really much to it, to be honest. But
why aren't you wearing your strap? I was told you have to wear that.
Shut the fuck up.
I was literally at my first save, third day of work ever. I was a dumbass 15-year-old, and I saved a child, and a mother came up to me and was like, I saw what you did up there. I just wanted to let you know. And I was like, oh, you're going to like compliment me? She's like, you really didn't react fast enough. And like you were zoning out and it took you a while to like react. And I was like, fuck off. Goodbye.
It's a very interesting sort of litmus test for a good parent, because I believe that a good parent will recognize that if a lifeguard had to get into the water because they saw something in your kid that was worthy of getting into the water, that is not a mistake on the parent's behalf, but maybe something to reflect on, like maybe pay attention more, thank the lifeguard. That's it. You don't have to like jerk them off. You just be like, thank you, and then
Yep.
take your kid and leave or whatever you want to do. The wrong reaction is anything else, because I have had so many people who refuse to believe that they could have done anything wrong and will immediately turn and like yell at lifeguards for having, judged their children to be in danger. Like,
I have a telekinesis link with my child, and I know exactly when they're in danger, and this was an overreaction on your part.
it's like, even if it is, that is not something that we are equipped to determine. We don't determine that's like, no, jumping in would be an overreaction while the kid is like leaking blood from his nose after jumping off the diving board and slamming his face to the bottom of the pool. That would be awkward if I jumped in. So I'm not going to. No, we jump in if we think that there's a problem. Fuck all of you. I hate parents so much, man.
They fucking drop off their kids and expect us to like babysit them essentially.
Oh yeah.
So if anything bad happens to them, it's like the onus is on us when we've like had to emphasize so many goddamn times that no, you are still in fact responsible for your child's safety, believe it or not. Like, we will make sure they do not die. That's our job. But if you have like a newborn like fetus and you're like, yeah, little 2-month-old Jimmy can go off the high dive and do a triple barrel roll, no problem, then you're a terrible parent and you should never be allowed to come back here ever again.
You shouldn't be. I don't want to get fucking emailed by the eugenics. Did you hear that?
Was that thunder?
That was weird. Anyway, I don't want to get emailed by the eugenics person again complaining about it. It's like, if you decide who has children, then that's eugenics, you monster! Shut the fuck up. I said, if you have intentions of, like, molesting a cat, you probably shouldn't have kids.
Yeah.
And in the same case, if you for some reason believe...
Whoa, bro, that's eugenics. It's pretty fucked up.
You're a fucking monster. You're squashing the genetic pool by denying the rights of people who want to touch cats. But anyway,
I don't remember if that person was like being like mean in their email or not.
No, they weren't being mean, but
Okay.
they were definitely not having it.
I don't even remember what the original context of the email was. It was just like
I remember that I was
said that some certain people shouldn't have kids is like eugenics, and I'm just like, okay. Wow.
I mean, I was sort of talking like Thanos, like it would be,
Yeah.
it would be, it would be merciful, and I would go into people's minds and like make them infertile, like Professor X, and that way, actually, that wouldn't stop them from having kids. They could just adopt and then ruin that.
You could just like go into their head and make them gay or something.
God, this is like Thanos. I only got to step 1 of my plan and didn't realize that I could just create more resources from like dead matter out in the universe. Fuck.
Why didn't anyone tell me?
Got me again.
God damn it! Now
I need some Ben Shapiro logic.
Did
Did you see that old clip of this British guy who's just talking about Ben Shapiro being an idiot? And Ben Shapiro's like,
So let's say that it's true that climate change does happen, and the icebergs do melt, and let's say the oceans rise by 2 feet. So all these men and women who live on the coast in their beach homes, let's say they get flooded. What is to stop them from selling their homes?
and then he stops because he just logic bombed the audience. But then the British guy's breaking down like an actual like drywall thing with an axe, and he's like,
Yeah.
"There's just one small problem, Ben. Who are they gonna sell their houses to? Fucking Aquaman."
Yeah, I know who that is. That's H Bomber guy. He's a great YouTuber. I love him. He's like
hilarious.
He's like one of the
By the way, you should actually watch that video because my delivery does not do any justice.
No, I've
It's
seen it.
really
I've seen the
funny.
video. It's really
Yeah, I'm talking to the
fucking
audience.
funny. Yeah, that fucking shit is great.
So
if you
fucking funny.
you know, people always talk about like YouTube being this like right wing like cesspool, and like you'll quickly fall into a pit of like, this is how Congress operates, and it's like nice and educational, and then like 5 videos later, it's like 9/11 was a conspiracy. Immigrants are being funded by George Soros, and Obama is a Muslim terrorist. And wild shit like that. So on the other hand, thankfully, there's a handful of nice YouTubers who are like on the left side of things, I guess you can say. So the counter to that, there's like H Bomber guy who's cool, who does that. He's also famous. He was famous for doing that Donkey Kong 64 charity stream where like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez showed up, Neil deGrasse Tyson showed up, Bill Nye the Science Guy showed up. something like that. Like
Never
just a
saw
ton
it.
of celebrities. It's pretty wild.
I want a Skittles.
Skills is good. ContraPoints, who's that really cool YouTuber who she's trans and talks about like trans issues and stuff, and then like also talks about like de-radicalizing people, but like in really interesting ways. So go check them out. If you're tired of fucking brain poison, take some brain medicine instead.
I thought you were about to just launch into an ad for a second. I was just like, if you're tired of brain poison, how I got a product for you? It's called Not Taking Brain Poison.
For $29.99 a month, I will come to your house and prevent you from taking brain poison.
Anytime someone does a joke about blankety blank 99 a month, it just makes me think of Zoo Books and that fucking crack addict kid that like I don't know if anybody is my age and has aware of the rerun ads that would go on like every channel I watched as a kid, like Discovery Channel and stuff. But it was just this very 90s like chino pants, thin leather belt, collared shirt kid who run down the fucking porch of his house like, and then and then he runs to the mailbox and he's and then he opens it and he gets out his Zoo Books and the mailman is there like he's a person that anybody talks to in the modern times, and he's just like, thank you so much. Yes. Oh my god, look at these pictures of animals. It's like, Jesus fuck, man. It's not that big a deal. It's not that deep. It's fucking animals.
Fucking animals. What was it? Oh wait, we never talked about the best part about the debate. The fucking crazy lady, Marianne Williamson.
What a fucking nut job. Isn't she like a self-help book author?
Yeah, she is. She's insane. She's literally like your drunk wine aunt, whatever that
that is
fucking
a very good
stereotype is. She was saying all this shit that was like,
Against
Donald Trump
plans.
won not by coming up with plans, but by just saying make America great again. All right? So we need to get over all of these superficial quote unquote plans and go deeper than that. And I was just like, what are you talking about? Like, you're bouncing back and forth between, like... So Donald Trump won with just a shallow catchphrase. So we came up with these deep plans to actually solve problems. But then you're saying those plans are shallow and that we need to, like, not use them or something? What the fuck is going on?
Her argument for the night was, to my eyes, just, we need to think less and do more. But it wasn't sort of like there's too much red tape. It was more like, stop coming up with plans and just say and do things.
Yeah.
Which is vexing. It's just, what are you talking about? It's like a very like sort of, I'm a very enlightened 14-year-old and I'm just discovering politics and these are my opinions. Or like when I was a kid and I was like 10 and I was wondering why they wouldn't elect a child president. I was like, this is the kind of shit that I would say.
Kid president. I'm sending you some good Marianne Williamson memes on Twitter now. But like, she also said some shit like, to defeat Donald Trump, I will harness the power of love, and I will see, and love will win on that battlefield, sir. And I'm just like, what? What is this?
Each of us is pregnant with a better version of ourselves. And then, for anybody interested, this is a Patrick Monahan tweet. It's just a screenshot of Marianne Williamson's tweet. Each of us is pregnant with a better version of ourselves. And then the second picture is someone who's pregnant with Waluigi. Or Wario, sorry. But it was like, she talked a lot about Kennedy and how charisma, talking to the people and feelings are what gets people elected. And that's true, but she said it in such a weird way where it's just like, what?
Absolutely.
Are you like, she took like a year of poli-sci and then just quit.
She's like, there you go. I know everything I need to know.
You said John Kennedy? All right, cool.
I found that tweet you were talking about before from the Viking guy on Twitter, who just has like the weird Danny Phantom profile picture, and Tom Holland just messages him, "I'm Spider-Man."
He doesn't say that. He says something else.
Oh, I'm Spid-Per-Man.
Which is what makes it funny to me.
Is Tom Holland funny? Is he a cool guy?
I think he's pretty charming. On talk shows and stuff, he's usually really funny.
I saw him on one of those Wired autocomplete interviews, and he seems like he was having a good time. But everyone on those things always seems like a little shitty. Like they don't like want to answer certain questions, or they.
Dude,
like,
I do not fucking blame them.
Like,
every single time. It just comes back to the thing that the tradition of this stupid thing that we record, which is just complaining about people at Comic-Con who are really creepy and weird going to Q&A panels.
Yeah.
It just feels like that to me. Like, just leave these people alone.
Yeah, you're right. Like, there was when Brie Larson did hers for Captain Marvel. Everyone, like, gave her so much goddamn shit.
Oh, no.
Why she should smile more? Why is she so mean? This is why everyone hates her.
Did you see the one where she did with Don Cheadle and Chris Hemsworth?
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
That was so bad, dude.
Oh god.
Everyone was fucking just hated her for like no reason. I don't understand.
Don Cheadle, like, she was like gesturing or something, like spreading her arms, like, yeah, we're all friends or something like that. I don't know what exactly she said.
Yeah,
but she spread her arms and like just barely touched Don Cheadle, and she was like, and Don Cheadle was just like, yeah, we talked about the touching thing, and he looks back at the interviewer, and she just looks down at the floor, and Chris Hemsworth is sitting there to the right, just like, this is the worst. I can't watch cringe shit anymore, but fuck, man.
I hate
Why?
it. Everything is just magnified like 20 million times, and it's just fucking terrible.
Because the room is silent,
Exactly.
so quiet.
Like, if I were like that content creator, I would not leave that shit in ever. I would delete it, put it on a hard drive, and like launch that hard drive into like a self-destructing like nuclear missile.
What did they do in the Transformers movie when they finally killed Megatron? They Osama bin Laden him and like tied an anchor to him and dropped it into the Laurentian abyss or something like that. Some over the top bullshit.
Yeah, at the end of Transformers 4, SEAL Team 6 comes and kills Megatron in the middle of the night in his home, and then they dump his body.
They were worried
in the ocean.
that his followers would come to support his grave if they left him there.
I do that is like the weird like official story behind why they never like brought back Osama bin Laden's body. They just like got rid of it, which I guess makes sense. But like then it's ripe for conspiracy theorists to just be like, Android and Osama bin Laden still out there somewhere.
they would conspiracy theories even if they did like show the body on a live stream and like indicated it was him through all sorts of records. It doesn't matter. People are gonna conspiracy theorize.
Just live stream that whole operation on Twitch.
You remember when the different SEAL Team 6 members started coming out and being like, I was the one who shot him?
Yeah. It's like, no, I was the one who shot him.
Maybe that's the story, or maybe only one guy did that, but for some reason I remember it the other way.
Maybe they all took turns. We all want to be able to say we were the ones that shot Osama bin Laden, so why don't we all just shoot him? Like, everyone get in line. Do you see Bernie Sanders started a Twitch channel?
Oh, God, man.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know what he would use it for. But someone
He's a titty streamer.
Someone photoshopped the picture of him on stream on the footage of when PewDiePie said the N-word. He's about to have a heated gamer moment, which is a shame.
Dude, him during the debates he didn't care about those questions at all. He was like just concerned about his own priorities. Like they would be like, so, there's a racial divide in the country and, how would you fix it? And he's just like, well, that's a problem. But first of all, we got to go after Wall Street. And everybody in the audience would laugh. And I'm just sitting there like, I kind of agree with the audience. Like, just answer the question. It's not that hard. How many times do you want to fuck this up?
Literally everything bad that has happened in this recording has been because of you.
You hung up on me, dude.
I did not hung up on you at all.
It said Alex is leaving the call.
It said Patrick has left the call.
Well,
maybe it just dropped or whatever. We're talking about Bernie being a Twitch streamer, and then you said something about him being at the debate.
It was the thing, like, he would be asked a question, and then he would ignore the question and then talk about Wall Street.
Yeah. And I'm like all for ripping on Wall Street, but like,
answer the question.
And like
that's why you're there, aren't you?
It's weird that he didn't actually say that much at the debate. Everyone else was just kind of like talking around him and like talking at him and stuff. But I will give him credit because a lot of people's like ideas on like healthcare and like all that stuff now he did come up with. So he sounds like a broken record now because he's been saying the same shit forever, and everyone else is like adopting and sort of molding his ideas into other things. So he's kind of just this. One, he's already like super fucking old, and two, he's like yesterday's news, sort of. That was the vibe I kind of got. So I don't know. I'm sure there's still diehard Bernie Sanders supporters out there for some reason, but who's to say? Do you want to just do emails now? Just like the few we have?
What?
Do you want to just do like the few emails we have now?
Sure.
Incredible. We got this one from Kishavi, who was kind enough to say that they're a new listener. They've been skipping around, saying they're all pretty great and hilarious. She wants to know about Patrick's hair rapidly turning into a bird's nest on his Insta page every time he posts.
Leave me alone.
You don't. What do you just do the one on the side and then leave everything on top, right?
Last time I got some off the top.
Okay, but like it's gotten so long that you like can even use a hair tie now.
I did for a little bit. Now I can't because I cut it.
Okay, so there you go. Leave Pat alone. He doesn't need the shit.
And as soon as I reinstalled The Witcher, I knew that I'd have to deal with the first like hour of the game where you can't find a barber.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking to find some fucking scissors in that game so I can give Geralt his hide and type back.
I actually really like the default hair in that game and the default armor. Oh yeah, wait. You told me you started listening to The Adventure Zone.
I did.
What do you think of it?
I enjoy it. I really liked how Griffin, like, he set up this very simple encounter where a few goblins would attack their little carriage.
Yeah.
And this is the my brother and me version of D&D for anybody who doesn't know. It's Griffin McElroy and all the other McElroy brothers and their dad doing a D&D campaign. And so the goblins attack and stuff, and then Griffin is expecting sort of like them to go through the paces of failing and trying, and so he can explain a bunch of different mechanics, but they all roll really well and just vaporize these goblins.
Yeah.
And it's just very entertaining to watch him have to come up with new things. Yeah, I really like it.
I love it. I'm on to the next chapter in like the campaign called Rockport Limited or whatever. I don't know how they're organizing it. There's like the original 10 episodes, and then after that they like go on to this next part of the storyline. So it just fucking goes on forever. The show's literally been going every 2 weeks since 2014, which is fucking insane to me.
I am not super huge fan of the tone. I like D&D for having a healthy combination of whimsical and serious role-playing.
Okay.
And they're pretty consistently like, tacos, burritos, lol.
Yeah.
And that's fun, but I'll usually like get through like 15 minutes of it and then go back to listening to something else.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate that, but also sometimes like I don't give a shit about the story or like the world. It more feels like I'm in like a fantasy like The Simpsons or something, where not everything's super serious, which I kind of enjoy. Like I need something like lighter to listen to, but I'm sure there's really good ones out there that strike that balance. Like I want to give Critical Role a try.
I have listened to that and I like it a lot. Yeah,
because I know Matt Mercer, and the rest of them
just recently did one with Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, the rest of them, they're all like professional voice actors, right?
Yep.
Which obviously is incredible. But one of my favorite, I'm playing through this game called Pillars of Eternity right now, which is it's a lot like it's one of the old like D&D style RPGs, but like reimagined for like modern times. And it's made by Obsidian, so the guys who made New Vegas. So it's real good. But one of your companions in that game is this old like war veteran named Eder, and he sounds like super cool. And like he's one of my favorite characters in the whole game, and his voice, I was like, oh, this guy's definitely played by Troy Baker. Like this sounds pretty much identical to Troy Baker. And I looked up his voice actor, and it wasn't Troy Baker. It was actually Matt Mercer. So
yep,
I think
they sound a lot alike.
So I guess they must sound a lot alike, or Matt Mercer is just doing a Troy Baker impression or something.
I mean, a Troy Baker impression is just generic McCree.
Exactly.
Oh.
That's exactly how Eder sounds. So, But yeah, I
Nathan, we need to get out of here, Nathan.
yeah. So I like it. But Troy Baker has like an insane amount of range. Like Joel from The Last of Us sounds nothing.
Ellie,
Yeah,
Ellie.
sounds nothing like his Joker from like Batman Arkham Origins or whatever. So props to him. He's very talented. I don't know what else Matt Mercer does though.
McCree.
Oh, it's,
He plays Hawkeye in Avengers Assemble, I think.
oh, okay. I'm sure that has an audience.
It's a cartoon.
Oh wait, how do you feel about Hawkeye's new single?
I didn't listen to it. I think Yaman did. I just thought it was funny, the idea that he makes music.
It is funny.
And then I sent that in the group chat and I sent the song.
It is pretty generic country rock. So
I think that his choice of album cover is pretty amazing.
yeah, it's just him sitting
In an old car.
with the car door open and he looks distraught or something. It's very weird. It's very like guy idea of cool. So.
I always thought that Jeremy Renner kind of looked like Johnny Cash because he's got the big nose.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can kind of see it. Anyways, we got an email from Jordan about the Adventure Zone, which is why I brought it up in the first place. The closest I will ever get to being a ghost is knowing a piece of trivia that you guys got wrong. I've listened to the balanced series of Adventure Zone like 3 times. Love them so much. The brothers are doing so well. I feel like another email has definitely brought up the graphic novel. Did not know there was a graphic novel. I love that Merle's bun rains flower petals. It's so cute. But like green taco is yikes. Yeah, a lot of people take issue with the early storyline of like Taco being like kind of like racist or whatever.
What?
Yeah, because like they're just kind of doing that weird Hispanic trope, I guess. Whatever.
I'm confused.
I'm Hispanic and I don't give a shit. So
What are you talking about? What is this?
people take issue with Justin's character Taco
Mm-hmm.
because it's like making fun of like Hispanic stuff, I guess.
In what way?
Just being like, I don't know, like he just like puts on like fake Spanish words and like all this stuff. I really don't understand the issue, but like I guess people are upset about it in some circles. I don't care about Taco being like racist or whatever, so sorry if you do. Do either of us have plans to listen to their other campaigns?
I might.
I am working through all the episodes chronologically, so I'm on episode like 15 now. I'm on what is that called? I don't know what Control is. I guess that's one of their campaigns. I'm really bad at keeping track of the namings of things.
She continues with, I feel bad for Clint because he had to go after Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
Though everybody shits on Commitment, but I didn't really click with the podcast again until like the end of Dust or halfway through Amnesty. Wow, these are a lot of references.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, hope y'all are having a nice summer. Also, Patrick's description of Clint as someone who with a mustache and khakis and a mustache was spot on. What?
With a mustache and khakis and a mustache.
What are we talking about? Clint?
Yeah, one of the characters. I don't fucking remember.
I don't remember at all.
I've listened to Moonlighting, which is episodes 7 through 9, and then I just started Rockport Limited, which starts at episode 10, so I'm not very deep into this. But I'm sure I will understand your references in due time. So thank you, Jordan, for the email. We talked about Neon Genesis Evangelion last time, and we got an email from our good friend listener Rob, who wrote this out in incredible detail, but also, more importantly, put a TLDR for us to read that's a lot simpler. God bless you, Rob.
So fucking convenient, thank you.
So he says,
what we talked about was them changing the translation from love to like between two characters. That's the basic it.
He even color-coded the more complicated explanation. I love this man. This is a
He
fantastically
said,
structured email.
They're probably wrong to change it to like in explicit terms since love is the point. Could be because products with the gays, TM, don't do as good projected numbers. Could be thinking like equals love when it's children, but how much malice you attribute could depend on how explicit the original Japanese is. I haven't read it, so I don't know. Localizing and maintaining the original intent is tough, so I prefer to put it down to incompetence usually. Thanks, and have a good one, Rob. Wow.
Thank you, Rob.
That was a pretty sophisticated take, and I'm going to say, since I don't know anything about this genre, I will agree.
I appreciate that last sentence a lot, where people on the internet especially will immediately jump to malice being, or like people doing something shitty intentionally, when it's usually incompetence. This goes back pretty much immediately to the Andrew Yang thing we were talking about. So, great theme to round out the podcast. And that is that. I think I forgot to upload the last episode to YouTube, so we have no comments.
Idiot.
I will do that when I upload this one. Anyways, thanks, I guess, for listening. Patrick, do you have anything you want to bring up at all? Do you have a confession
Into the Spider-Verse is on Netflix. You should put it on
Dude,
Netflix.
I'm so fucking excited.
Watch it. It's good.
We're gonna go see Far From Home.
Far From Home on Tuesday, and it's probably not going to be very good.
It has a 90% of Rotten Tomatoes. Why wouldn't it be good?
I have a feeling.
I feel like you say this about a lot of movies, and then
I have never said that about any movies. You're the person who tells people, "Yeah, I have known you from the beginning that it was going to be bad."
You said Endgame was going to be disappointing, and then you really enjoyed it.
What?
Yeah.
No, then I lied.
Yeah, you fucker. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening through the technical difficulties. And
do you want to mention the Patreon?
I was just about to do that. Thank you especially to our Patreon patrons. If you want to become one, you can go to patreon.com/prudedudes and throw your pocket change at us, and we'll be so grateful. Thank you to Brianna, Cassidy, Chelsea, David, Aaron, Everso Joe, Jesse, Joshua, Kane, Monty, Rebecca, Sydney, Tara, That Loser Travis, Vanessa, and Jessica. You're all incredible. I would give you a firm handshake if I could. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at PrudeDudes.
If you feel like it.
Send us emails and art and anything to prudedudes@gmail.com.
Or complain, or send something that you consider funny.
Just send us rants or funny shit, memes.
Make it a brief rant, or make it a long one with a TLDR.
Yes, the long ones with TLDR
Which means
are appropriate.
a summarization that is like a paragraph long.
Do that. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. We'll see you again next week.
Suck my ween.